Now, the unemployment rate has increased by 1.7% in the fourth quarter of 2020, making women and youth the most vulnerable. With very few job opportunities, SMMEs have become a beacon of hope for many young professionals. And now, a new creative agency called Just Exist seeks to showcase local talents and bridge the gap between the disenfranchised youth creatives and corporates. Raphala, famously known as Shimza, is a founding member of the agency and says the aim is to enrich. But he joins us on the line now to talk a little bit more about the aim of Just Exist agency. Shimza, a very good morning to you. Thank you for your time. I suppose one can say you're taking some sort of opportunity in a chaotic, unprecedented time of COVID-19. Tell us more.
I think this time for me has really unlocked my brains to another level of thinking, and obviously noticing that even through like a pandemic, there's a lot of opportunity, because now I'm home, I can sit and think and see how I can implement, So I've done so much of that, and I've seen a lot of opportunities that one can branch into, and this is one of them.
You say here that Just Exist is not playing by any long-established industry rules that have long governed advertising, and that it's a group of young black go-getters. Tell us more about your strategy.
I think our strategy is mainly to take young creatives from the townships who would ordinarily not have opportunities to have their stuff showcased on TV, their ideas and their real genuine stories, and we want to be the bridge between big brands and those small young creatives with fresh minds and fresh ideas to merge, and obviously tell genuine South African stories in the most genuine way. For me, we think for the agency, actually, our main objective is to make sure that we pull at especially the people that consume a lot of the brands in South Africa. We pull at their heartstrings, tell their stories, so that when they watch TV, they can relate to whatever messaging is being shared with them.
With the latest numbers showing that the unemployment rate has increased by 1.7% in the fourth quarter of 2020, you speak about getting the young black creatives involved in your project and going into the township. What kind of opportunities are you providing?
I mean, we're providing, like, from the little spaces in the creative industry to the most commercial, if I can put it that way, like young graphic designers, photographers, videographers, stylists, anything in the creative space, because when we do get a client that initially gives us an opportunity to showcase what we can do with raw talent, then we would want to obviously give them something that they can go back and say, oh, so this person had a degree, they didn't have a job in the township, and we gave them an opportunity to showcase what they did, and this is what they gave to us, And for me, that's a very important message, that us as young people, we should be able to be in a position to use our influence to obviously groom other kids, And we're from the townships, and we know how people live, So we know that people are creative in the townships, but the opportunities are not there. And we are going to go as deep as the trenches, to go and check who's here, who's doing what, and what can we do with them.
How are you hoping to change perceptions and the narrative about branding? I mean, there was and there has been over the years how, there's a lot of criticism when it comes to the manner in which black products and black people are depicted in adverts, for instance, always dancing and singing and celebrating when there's something like a discount in a shop. How are you hoping, as you speak about telling genuine African stories and depicting that life in the township and how it then coexists within a brand, how are you hoping to demystify the myths around that?
I mean, I for one, am from the township. I'm from Tembisa, and such things get to me, and for me to be in the forefront of trying to change that narrative with my team, it's a win situation for not just me, but for the community at hand, because we know that the people in high positions in these big corporates are generally black people right now. It's not only white people that have always wanted to work with big established agencies that come from overseas to come tell our stories. But we are here, we are saying we live exactly what you guys want to tell to the consumer, and we are in a position to get young creatives in the same space that you want to play in, to say, this is the story that we can tell in the most genuine way, and that will help other people obviously relate to the message and obviously consume the brand. I've lived what you just asked. I've started a festival in Tembisa, which is, in my view, a world-class festival, where I was like, I don't have to go to a Midrand or a Kempton Park for me to be exposed to a world-class festival. I'm going to start this in my township, and I'm going to make sure that big brands see the potential in my festival and start investing in it. So I've lived that brand space, and I think it's high time that I get other creatives to obviously play in that space and understand it, and most of all learn from it. But the opportunities are there, and we think we can make sure that we do a lot with these brands.
And very lastly, before we let you go, I mean, COVID-19, the ripple effects have been detrimental to many operating in several fields across the country, the arts field, events field. When it comes to perhaps a message that you would convey for those who may still be hoping and optimistic, but not really being able to see past the, the downfall of COVID-19, what message would you say to some budding creatives?
I think the creatives world, man, this hit us so hard that a lot of people sort of saw this as like the most unwinnable battle, and for me, I feel like it's a time where the world has said, step back and just think about how you are going to handle the situation, and for us as creatives, I think this is where it opened up our eyes to say, okay, cool, I want to sell shoes. How can I work on my design? It gave us time to sit at home and think about ourselves and our products. So I think most of the creatives that are at home right now should be pushing their brains to think beyond what they were used to before COVID-19, and that is an opportunity on its own, where when things go back to normal, you have planned yourself before we can go back to the normal state of living that you need.
And how many young people are you hoping to give opportunities to?
That will depend on the amount of work that we get, so we're hoping that we can get as many CVs and profiles as possible, so that we can go through them while we still have time, while we're still pitching to clients, and we'll see how many we can empower, but we want to push that narrative to say we want young black creatives from the townships, or even if you're not from the township, obviously, because we've grown up in a different era in life, where our parents could live in anywhere where they wanted, So if you're a young, great creative and you think you have something that you can offer to the agency, you can just email us at info@justexists.com. info@justexists.com.
And now, very lastly, what sort of challenges did you encounter while trying to establish Just Exist Agency in terms of finance and access to finance and other means?
I mean, we have to push and pull, we have to push and pull, where we are taking money from our savings and obviously paying the creatives that have created our websites, our business CI, and we just decided, let us just start, so that we can exist, and because I'm working with such great minds, Hussein, Kosi, and Malena, we are experts in our own terrains, and I think the merging of the four brains will obviously create a lot of opportunities for people, because we've worked with very creative and and most amazing creatives in the South African creative space, you know. And I think with our experience that we have with working with other brands, obviously individually through our things, we think the experience that we have as a collective is a powerhouse for us to obviously take every opportunity that's given to us and run with it, you know.
Thank you so much for your time. Let's leave it there for now. Founding member of creative agency Just Exists Agency, Raphala, or better known as Shimza, giving us a sense of the aim of this industry and the strides that they're hoping to make when it comes to shaking things up.